A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. I want A+ English, 'cause it's so much fun. English education for you and everyone, so come along. Learn some grammar, learn a phrase, learn something new every day. Learn the A+ way. Hey, it's time to start the show. Are you ready? Good, 'cause here we go. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. I want A+ English.
Hi everybody, welcome to A+ English. I'm Pat.
I'm Chickling.
And today we're looking at the second part of our article on language contact. This is what happens when two languages interact, when speakers of a different language are around each other for a long time. What happens? What influences each other? We explained it a bit yesterday. Today we'll look at some examples. But first, let's ask our warm-up question. Do you ever use English words when you speak Chinese? What are some common ones? So this is a question for you.
Well, I think I do, and quite a lot.
What are they?
It's kind of annoying, but I think I always say like when I can't think of what I'm going to say. Even when I'm speaking Chinese, it gets really annoying to me, but sometimes I can't help.
Or what about things like hello and bye-bye?
Oh yeah, I say that too.
Okay.
And sometimes if I want to say something in Chinese, but I kind of forget how to say it, or if I can't find a good way to say it, I'll use English words to support it.
Okay. I'll give you a different example from a good friend of mine. She learned Spanish for about a month or two. Okay. She's Taiwanese. She speaks Chinese. She speaks very good English. But for some reason, she got the Spanish word for cockroach stuck in her head. And now she can't remember the English word for it. And whenever she says it, even in Chinese, she tends to say cucaracha, which is the Spanish word for it. So that is what can happen with language contact. Some words will just get stuck in your head and then they will interfere even with your normal mother tongue, your native language. So that's just one kind of fun example of language contact. What else can happen? Let's read through today's article and find out.
What is language contact? Warm-up question. Do you ever use English words when you speak Chinese? What are some common ones?
For most of history, language contact happened through direct contact. For example, lots of Taiwanese words come from Japanese. That's because Japan ruled Taiwan from 1895 to 1945. Some examples are kanban, unchan, and obasan. Language contact also happens indirectly, especially through the internet. In Chinese, some common words are from other languages. These include halo, hello, from English and oba, opa, from Korean. Some Chinese words like xiaolongbao and zongzi are in English dictionaries too. We can use these words to communicate in our lives. This shows different languages' influence on each other.
So the article starts today by saying, for most of history, language contact happened through direct contact.
所以其实我们知道，在历史大部分的时间里，语言接触通常都是透过直接接触才发生的。
Yeah, so this means when lots of people from one country came to another country, they started to talk to each other and so on. A good example, although an old one, would be England 1,000 years ago when a group of people from France came over and took over England and became our kings. And a lot of French words then got into English. Words like beef. You think of beef as English, it's a French word, bœuf. It's just one of those words that's become an English language word from contact with France, which of course is very close to England. Here's another example from our article. It says, using yesterday's word power word, for example, lots of Taiwanese words come from Japanese.
那我们就进到今天的 Magic Box 看一下 for example 的用法，我们等下就回来了。
Magic Box
Hello， 我是 Casey。我们在说明事情的时候，常常会需要举一些实例来证明我们的论点。举例呢，也可以让听的人更有具体的连结哦。我们今天就来学学看3种在英文里面举例的方式吧。首先呢，在口语上或者是比较轻松的场合，我们可以使用一些比较不正式的说法，像是 like 还有 such as。举个例子来说，我很喜欢吃甜食，像是柠檬塔还有肉桂卷。I like desserts like lemon tarts and cinnamon rolls。这句话里面的 like 我也可以直接代换成 such as。那 like 跟 such as 后面都可以直接接上名词哦。如果我想要接完整的句子的话呢，就可以使用 for example。像是刚才那个例句，我们就可以直接代换成 I like desserts. For example, lemon tarts and cinnamon rolls are my favorites. 那 for example 也可以搬到句子的中间来使用。那刚刚那句话就可以说 I like desserts, lemon tarts and cinnamon rolls, for example, are my favorites. 当然呢，你也可以把它放到句尾也是可以的哦。今天学到了3种这个举例的英文说法，大家赶快试试看自己举例，然后代换看看吧。
那我们刚刚是不是有看到什么 Taiwanese、Japanese、Chinese， 老师也有提到 German 这一些，其实它就是可以当国籍啊，或者是民族语言的用法，我们在英文里面是可以这样使用的哦。
Yeah, sometimes the same word is used for the language that is being spoken and the people who are saying it. So I could say I'm English. I could also say I am British. And I could say I speak English or British English. Okay, so why are there Japanese words in the Taiwanese language? You can probably guess the answer if you know some recent history. The article says, that's because Japan ruled Taiwan from 1895 to 1945.
所以呢，其实台语啦，有很多单词是来自于日语，所以其实我们等一下会一起看一下有哪些字哦。那这边我们先看一下今天第一个单字 rule。这 rule 在我们的文章中是动词，它有统治、管辖的意思。那它名词也可以哦，它名词就是规则的意思。所以我们通常说打破规则，其实就是 break the rules。我们也可以说 you must not break the rules， 你绝对不可以打破规则。那我们再看一个课文例句。Queen Elizabeth II rules over the UK, Canada, Australia, and a few other countries. 就是女王伊丽莎白2世管辖整个英国、加拿大、澳洲，还有一些其他的国家。所以台语啊被日语这样影响，是因为呢，我们在日本是从1895年开始到1945年统治过台湾。
Yeah. Now it is kind of correct to say Queen Elizabeth II rules the UK, although of course she doesn't actually have the power to make rules, the noun form. The government, the British government rules the UK. So we've get back to our article, and we've got these Japanese words in Taiwanese. And I'm going to pronounce them wrong, so maybe you can help me out here. Some examples are, is this kanban?
Kanban.
Unchan or unchan?
Unchan, I'm not really sure about this one.
Okay, and I know this last one, obasan.
Obasan, I know that one.
Okay, so these are signboard, driver, and obasan, of course, is a middle-aged woman.
Yeah, or maybe like a middle-aged man, you can call him a oji-san.
Oji-san, okay, there we go.
Right, 所以呢，有一些例子像是我们的招牌啦，司机先生，或者是中年妇女啦，就是我们讲的欧巴桑、oji-san，其实都是来自于日语诶。
Okay, so I can think of another one that I do see in Taiwan. I think, isn't the Chinese word for guava, isn't it ba le, right? But almost everyone I know says ba la, which is the Taiwanese.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there is language contact. Okay, here's more. The article says, language contact also happens indirectly, especially through the internet. So we've had direct contact where lots of people, groups of people are meeting each other, coming into contact, in some cases ruling and being ruled. Now we're talking indirectly.
所以呢 indirectly 指的就是间接地，所以直接的我们就是把 in 拿掉变成 directly， 它就会变成直接地。还有同样的例子，还有 convenient 跟 inconvenient， 这些都是表达否定字的英文字首，我们加一个 in。那所以呢，刚刚我们讲 direct， 老师是讲 direct 啦，我们也可以讲 direct， 都可以。
Yeah, that's another British English thing. I would say indirectly, but indirectly is fine. There are some of these other little negative prefixes we can put in front of words. I am, and it has the opposite meaning. Somebody is polite, somebody is impolite. Someone is organized, another person is disorganized, yes. Something is very clear. No, this is unclear. So U-N-D-I-S, I-M, I-N, they all have this negative meaning that makes the word mean its opposite. Got another word to look at here though, haven't we?
我们来看一下今天第二个单字 especially 就是尤其呀，或者是特别是，所以比如说 I like fruit, especially strawberries and blueberries. 我超爱水果，尤其是草莓啊，还有蓝莓。那我们再看一个句子 The room is very hot, especially in summer. 这个房间超级热，尤其是在夏天的时候。
We could also say Kevin likes all kinds of cake, especially chocolate cake. He likes that more than any other kinds. So, now let's look at some more examples of language contact and words that get into other languages. The article says, in Chinese, some common words are from other languages.
所以在中文也是一样啊，有一些很常见的字也是都是来自于其他语言的，像是 like hello?
Yeah, that's one example we've got here. These include, I think, hello, is that right?
Hello.
Or hello from English, and oppa from Korean.
All right, oppa. So you're an oppa.
I suppose I might be if I knew what that actually meant.
oppa 就是 like 一个
Older brother or something like that?
like a brother, like a handsome brother.
Oh, that ain't me then. I'm the other one.
You are. You're oppa, pat oppa, papa.
Okay.
所以呢，我们可以看到像是 hello 还有 oppa 这些都是来自于其他的语言，可是我们中文把它拿来使用的。
And it goes the other way. I kind of mentioned this yesterday, that a lot of food words, there is no English name for a lot of these foods. We just take the words from their language. The article says some Chinese words like xiaolongbao and dongzi are in English dictionaries too.
所以像那个什么 wonton soup 也是吧，馄饨汤嘛。
Exactly, yeah. We probably use the more Cantonese pronunciation, but yeah, we just sushi, kimchi. A lot of the Korean foods have just been added.
所以我们来看一下今天第三个单字 dictionary。Dictionary 是字典的意思，那所以一个双语字典呢，我们英文就可以说 a bilingual dictionary， 因为 bilingual 就是有雙語的。那我们来看一下，如果你今天一个字不知道，要去查字典，我们使用的片语就是 look up。比如说 if you don't know the word, just look it up in a dictionary， 就是去查一下字典啊。那我们再看一下另外一个课文例句 Tina didn't know this word, so she looked it up in a dictionary. Tina 不知道这个字的意思，所以她就去查字典了。所以呢，老师刚刚讲到小笼包、粽子、什么寿司啊这类的，其实都是来自于其他语言的。
Right. I will say though, if you are reading something in English and you find a word you don't understand, the first thing you should try to do is read a bit more of the sentence. Read the next sentence. Try to guess the meaning. Don't just stop reading and look it up in your dictionary. You can do that afterwards if you still can't figure it out. The first thing you should do is go, maybe I can guess it from the meaning, from the context of the sentence. Okay, so the article continues and says, we can use these words, meaning these words we've borrowed and taken from other languages, we can use these words to communicate in our lives.
所以这边也是今天的 last 单字，最后你看出现的 last 单字，其实是最后一个单字，它就是我。所以呢 communicate 就是沟通的意思。我们再看一下还有没有其他用法。 communicate 这一个字就是沟通或者是交流的意思，所以跟谁沟通呢？我们后面加一个对象，我们前面会加一个 with， 所以就是 to communicate with someone， 就是和谁沟通。比如说 she finds it hard to communicate with her teacher， 她觉得跟她的老师沟通有点困难。那它的名词其实很简单，就是 communication。那我们再看另外一个句子。比如说 good communication is important for business， 代表良好的沟通技巧呢，对于商业或做生意来说是很重要的。那我们再看另外一个课文例句。Today, people like to communicate through messages more than phone calls. 现今呢，人们比起讲电话比较喜欢打字，哪有比较喜欢讲电话，比较快。所以这些 language contact 出来的字，我们可以拿来日常生活中交流。
So we could also say there are lots of ways to communicate: speaking, messaging, emails, video calls, writing letters, sign language, emoji, line stickers.
超多。
There are so many ways to communicate. But let's get back to the article, which is talking still about using words from different languages. It says, this shows different languages' influence on each other.
所以呢，其实我们就知道说呢，我们每个语言是可以互相影响的。
Yeah, it just shows how everything is borrowing from everything else. And maybe in a few hundred years, everything will kind of get closer and closer and closer until we all understand each other. But it might take a long time. It probably won't be while we are alive. Well, we hope you guys have learned something useful, something interesting over the last 2 days. Now it's time for us to go to our review time activity.
Review time.
So one of our word power words today was dictionary. And I have here a nice big fat dictionary from the office upstairs. So what I'm going to do is I will just flip through it, open on some page, and I will pick a word to read the definition to Chikalin. And she will see if she knows what that word might be.
That sounds difficult.
Well, I'll give you a clue. I'll tell you the first letter of the word.
Just the first letter?
Just the first letter. Let's see how you do. Okay. So this is a word that begins with P, okay? And it is something that is not brightly colored. It's something that is not too interesting. It's easily seen.
Plain.
Plain is correct.
Oh, yay, got it.
Plain, P-L-A-I-N. Okay. Do you want to have a go?
Oh, sure.
You can flip through it, come up
Actually,
with
kind of fun.
a random word. Okay. Go ahead.
Okay, so this is a word that starts with the letter S.
S, okay.
So it means they share. Okay, if two things are this word, they share some qualities but are not exactly the same.
Ah, so they are similar.
Yay!
Okay, that's pretty good. Shall I try one more?
Maybe.
Okay, what have we got? Okay, this is a word that begins with C. Okay.
Chickling.
No, not quite. This is a word, it's a verb, and it means to think carefully about something before you make a decision or make up your mind.
Considerate. No, consider.
Consider, yeah.
Considering.
That is correct. You are considering it. You're thinking hard about it. Pretty good.
Yay!
Your English is on point. Okay, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you guys for watching with us for A+ English. I'm Pat.
Chickling.
And we'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
What is language contact? Warm-up question. Do you ever use English words when you speak Chinese? What are some common ones?
For most of history, language contact happened through direct contact. For example, lots of Taiwanese words come from Japanese. That's because Japan ruled Taiwan from 1895 to 1945. Some examples are kanban, unshan, and obasan. Language contact also happens indirectly, especially through the internet. In Chinese, some common words are from other languages. These include halo, hello, from English and opa, opa from Korean. Some Chinese words like xiaolongbao and zongzi are in English dictionaries too. We can use these words to communicate in our lives. This shows different languages' influence on each other.
Word power. Rule. Rule. Queen Elizabeth II rules over the UK, Canada, Australia, and a few other countries. Queen Elizabeth II rules over the UK, Canada, Australia, and a few other countries. Especially. Especially. The room is very hot, especially in summer. The room is very hot, especially in summer. Dictionary. Dictionary. Tina didn't know this word, so she looked it up in a dictionary. Tina didn't know this word, so she looked it up in a dictionary. Communicate. Communicate. Today, people like to communicate through messages more than phone calls. Today, people like to communicate through messages more than phone calls.
认识字汇
Indirectly. Indirectly.